everyone, hope you're doing well today. My name is Nate, and today I was going to do some ice dyeing. As you can see right back here, you may not know what this is, but I made a little contraption for some ice dyeing, and I was getting ready to put dye on, and I do not have any dye specifically made for ice dyeing at the moment, so I thought it'd be a good idea to show you how to do that if you don't have any ice dye colors. So right here I have basically some primary colors, some secondary colors, but these are mostly like primary dyes that are not mixed with other colors. These are just pure colors. And so what we're going to do to make ice dye is we're going to mix some of these colors together. I have a couple little containers right here and also some soda ash, and we are going to mix these colors, the soda ash, together. And then afterwards, I'm not going to show you how to use the dye. I'll have some other videos on how to ice dye, but I will show you the results of this shirt that I have right in here using these colors that we are using. So I'm going to go ahead and get mixing so that you can see what needs to be done, and then kind of explain a little bit as we go along. So these little containers, I figured I'd make 4 colors. 4 colors are good. I want to do a dark color, a light color, and then probably a blue heavy maybe, and then a fuchsia heavy, but we'll see. So as we start making this stuff, I'll kind of figure out as we go along. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but this is just one of those little surprise videos. I'll make sure my microphone's even on too. It would suck if it was off. So it's just one of those little surprise videos that I thought would be a good idea on the fly to just make up. And then I do want to do quite a few more ice dyes. It's been a while since I've ice dyed, and so I am now bringing out the dyes so that we can do some more ice dyes. And I will show you how to do those as well. So when you're mixing dye, you're going to want to mix your dye with soda ash when doing ice dyes, mist dyeing, and hot water irrigation. But once you mix this dye with the soda ash, you can no longer mix it with water. Once the 3 of these are mixed together, there is a reaction that starts happening. And if you mix them beforehand, that reaction will happen before it goes on the shirt. So by the time you start putting it on the shirt, you may have some weakened dye, and it may not dye as vibrant as you want. So you can mix any of the 2 together and be just fine for a while. But it's once those 3 all come together, that's when it starts happening. So if you're going to be mixing dye for ice dye, make sure you only mix a small amount that you're going to be using for ice dye, because this isn't really, once it goes in here, you're not going to want to use it for liquid dyeing. So the ratio can be anywhere from half soda ash to half dye to 6 parts soda ash to 1 part dye. It's really up to you, and it's going to be dependent on how deep and how vibrant you want your dye to look, or if you want to prep your shirt beforehand or not. So say you don't want to prep your shirt in soda ash at all whatsoever. All you want to do is wash it and then throw your dye on it. You're going to want to mix closer to a 6-to-1. That way you don't have to that way you have enough soda ash per to dye ratio that it's not going to rinse out. So if you have one of those lower ratios, say 1-to-1, but you don't prep your shirt in soda ash, you may not have enough soda ash for all the dye to bond correctly. So you're going to have to kind of gauge. It's going to be variant all on what you do, and you can't really go wrong. Like, as long as you have soda ash and dye together, it's going to dye. So don't worry about doing anything wrong here. I'm not even measuring. I'm just going to take some soda ash. I'm going to take some dye. We're going to mix it together, and we're going to do it. I have no plans. I have no rhyme or reason. Well, I have a reason, but I don't really have anything other than the reason to dye this shirt back here telling me what to do. And my only real concern is I have a dark color, I have a light color, and then my other two colors we'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, so I'm gonna take some soda ash here, and I'm gonna pour some of this in here. So what I'm gonna do is I want to fill this about halfway or so. And I'm gonna do that with all of these. I'm not gonna fill these to the top when I put dye in it. So I am shooting for close to a 3-to-1 ratio. We'll try to get all those level. I gotta sneeze. If you're gonna be doing a lot of this, you're gonna want to wear a dust mask. Kind of wish I was wearing a dust mask now. Sorry about that. This stuff does make me sneeze. Any kind of powder in the air will make me sneeze. And over time, these are not good for you to inhale over time. So if you're going to be doing this a lot, I do suggest you wear a dust mask for this. Okay, so we got all 4 of these. There we go. About level. So we're not going to need the soda ash anymore. They're all about half full or so. Okay, so let's see what colors we got here. I got some yellow, some red, fuchsia, orange. So I'm actually going to put these in order here. So we're going to go fuchsia, red, orange, yellow, green. We got turquoise. We got 2 turquoises. These are a little bit different from each other. And I think that's it. Looks like I did not bring any purple. So I got some terracotta concentrate. So this is a brown, and then some black. So we're going to work with these. So any kind of purples that we're going to get will be a mixture of the fuchsia and the turquoises. Those will give us a better spread for purples versus red and some kind of blue. And like the turquoise is blue. We call it turquoise, but this is like your CMYK color. It's very similar to a cyan. It's going to be brighter than your normal blues, and so you can get more color range out of turquoise than you would out of some of your other blues. Okay, so we're going to go. Why don't we make our dark color first? Okay, so dark. I'm going to take some black here. And black can be real strong, so if you're going to be using black, just go kind of light. I'm not really measuring. I got a little bit on here. It's good enough. And we mix in, we'll see. Maybe I'll go a little bit more. Just a little bit. Okay. So we got a little bit in there. Close this back up. Okay, so you can kind of see what's in here. So now we will put, this is a little bit darker turquoise than this one. This is Grateful Dye's turquoise. And the Jacquard products turquoise is pretty light. I'm actually going to use some of this. Just get a little bit of that. And that's going to go in there too. We're going to put a few colors in this. With it being darker, we're just going to let this be one of our... actually, you know what? So this will be all of our primary colors. The CMYK that I just mentioned. So we've got the K, which is black. We got the C, cyan, which is turquoise. Sorry, once I sneeze, now my allergies are bothering me a little bit. So do be careful if you do this a lot. I do typically wear a mask. I can't talk with the mask on, so we are just doing this one time with no mask. So be sure to wear a dust mask if you're going to be doing this a bunch. We got black. We got turquoise. Come over here to the fuchsia. I'm going to throw some fuchsia in there. I'm going to put close to equal parts of all these. Just throw this fuchsia in there. And now some yellow. And so this will just be our 4 primaries. This is all right, and a decent amount of yellow. Yellow is gets taken up by the other colors pretty easily. So a lot of times I do like to put a little bit extra. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. So I'm going to cup this. Okay, you can see I got multiple colors in here. And the reason I use these containers, close it off. Just give it a nice little shake. You're going to want to shake it up pretty good. That way you get it all nice and evenly distributed throughout. And once this melts, your color will melt evenly. And I did not bring anything with me to distinguish what these are, although I have this, which has a blade. So what we're going to do, color 1, this is our primary colors. This is the one that has black in it. This is going to be darker. I am just going to simply scratch a 1 right there. So that 1 is our primary colors. We're going to go ahead and set that one aside. And I'm going to, while I have the blade out, I'm going to go ahead and mark all of these. I'm just going to put a straight dash. So number 2 is just 2 dashes. And 3, 1, 2, 3. And number 4. Sometimes when you don't have everything you need, just improvise with what you've got, which is the whole purpose of this video. I do not buy dye specific for ice dye. I never have, and I probably never will. I will make my own. I've been working with just a few colors for basically most of my tie dyeing, and so I have learned that there are only a few pure colors, and all the colors out there on the market, a good percentage of them are just these colors mixed together in different ways. And I like to figure that kind of stuff out, so I've just started mixing on my own and stuff just like that. And so there's our dark color. Now, let's see, why don't we do, so we're going to make some color, or a color with the secondary colors. So I'm going to go ahead and take some orange here. And we are going to put some orange in here. For a decent amount. And I'm going to take some green. We'll put some green in there. And then some purple, which I do not have any purple out here. So what we're going to do is take a little bit of fuchsia. Not too much. We're going to go about half as much of this color as the other 2 colors. And then we're going to go with this other turquoise here. Okay, so make sure just to get a little bit of this. Some of that turquoise. And I'm going to throw a tiny little bit of this red. And then I think this color will be good. So I don't want too much red, just a little bit. This will do is deepen up some of that fuchsia in there. They're similar colors, but not quite. Okay, so number 2 is our secondary colors. We have primary colors and our secondary colors. Even though there are some primaries in this, to make the secondaries, they're gonna look kind of similar. It's once you put, if you kind of see there, they're real close. This seems to be a little bit more reddish. And you can't really tell what color is what just by looking at them. So you look at this and you're like, yeah, it's a yellowish brown, maybe some orange. I don't know. So our secondaries. Number 2, that's our secondary colors. And number 3, all right, so number 3, I'm going to take the fuchsia, the red, and both turquoises and put them in there. Nah, maybe one other color. We'll see. We'll see. So fuchsia can be pretty strong with the ice dyeing. Doesn't travel quite as far as some of the other colors. The turquoise travels really far. Yeah, these are a larger molecule, I believe. And so they don't travel quite as far through the fabric, where turquoise is a smaller molecule. So it's going to take the longest path through them. All right, so there's our red tones that are in there. Now we're going to go with our blue tones. Put just a little bit of this. I think I'm going to use a little more of that other turquoise. Just let that drop in there. Go to the other turquoise. Put a decent amount of this in. I always tend to like what this does. Okay. Now I feel like I still need to add something to that. I feel like that is missing. Whoops, looks like I spilled there. Be careful with spilling. All right, so what color should I put in this? Do I make it brown? I make it light? Should this just be... should I put some yellow, some green? You know what? We're going to put a little bit of green. Not a whole lot. We're going to let these colors overpower it some. And then we're going to take some green. Just put a little bit of green in there. What this will do is give us more splits. So the more colors that are in there, the more potential for splits. If all your colors are the same or very similar, they may not split very far or have very many splits because they're too similar. So we're going to shake this up. All right, so number 3, this is going to be more, I'm going to say it's going to be kind of a purplish tone. We're going to go into the I don't know, dark coolish. It'll be brown to purple. There's going to be some blues. There's going to be some fuchsias from it. There's going to be a few colors. But this will be probably like a brown to purple to blue. And there may even be a little green thrown in there just because because of that green that we used, but I'm not 100%. There's not a way to know until you mix this. And that's part of the fun thing about mixing these colors is sometimes you will mix stuff and you will get a fantastic color that you just absolutely love that you've never seen before and you won't even know where to get it. So you may even want to write down how you're mixing these. If you're wanting to keep track, use a teaspoon and keep track of how many teaspoons go into each one. Try not to mix too much at each time because you may make a color that you don't like. So, just kind of try to keep track of all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so now our fourth color, we'll make this, so what did I say? I wanted to make a lighter color. Yeah, so this one's going to be, we got a darker color, which is our primaries. This one has black in it, so this should turn black. And then we'll see what comes out of this. Then we got our secondary colors. Okay, so this will be a little bit on the darker side as far as the colors we're making. So this one I'm going to make a little bit on the lighter side. So we're going to put some orange, some yellow, and we'll see when we get after that. So got some orange here. I think I may even throw some of that terracotta since I haven't used that terracotta yet. That'll give it a little bit of a, oh, that's where I'm getting the spill. Oops. Yeah, gotta be careful. So if you're doing this inside, you gotta be real careful with this dye here. So powdered dye, when it splashes around and gets wet, it could potentially stain all kinds of stuff. So be very careful if you do happen to spill some of your dye. So dye powder is not to be just messed with. It's be careful with this stuff. Okay, so we got some yellow. I'm going to use a decent amount of yellow here. And go yellow heavy because just from that orange that's in there, that orange is definitely already going to overtake all of this yellow. But the yellow may show through. It may. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so we're going to take some terracotta. I'm just going to put a little bit of this in here. This is terracotta concentrate. Let's give it some true browns. I'm going to throw some red. So we're going to make this kind of fiery. Only a little bit of red though, just a little. You see I got a tiny, tiny little bit of red on there. And I'm going to throw a little bit of this turquoise in there as well. Not too much, but this should give some cool splits in there too. So the red, the terracotta, and this turquoise I didn't use very much of. We'll give this a good shake. And once it's all shaken up, you are ready to use your dye. So if you want to check out how to use this, I do have a video, what is ice dye, that goes over how to ice dye in general. And then you can basically use any tie-dye pattern that you want for ice dye. There's some that work better than others. I will have some more videos on how to do some ice dyeing patterns. So be sure to check those out and check back for those. And I will have the video for the shirt that I'm about to dye posted right at this end of this video. So please be sure to click that like and subscribe button for more videos. My name is Nate. Thank you for watching.